hate you.
1.5.
Dude, we're live.
1.1.
We've been live for like 10 seconds.
1.
Oh my goodness. So guys, we're live here, Kingdom of Honor, doing pop culture and things.
Yep. That's
And
us. We're pop culturing it up.
That guy over there, he's Shane. I'm Jeff, and we.
And I was trying. And I was trying to be funny. Apparently, I fucked up the timing by doing that.
Well, because when you went dark, I thought you were doing the silent 2 and 1, so I just hit it. I went back to my TV roots. I'm sure you have some snazzy intro to do and all that stuff. Go for it. Do your intro.
I didn't really have a snazzy intro. It's more like, yeah. Well, I guess let's do it this way. After the first 4 episodes of season 1 of Jessica Jones, I said on air on our previous incarnation of the show.
Not just you, I did too.
Yeah, but I said it and then you agreed. I said this might be the greatest show I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the 8th episode, we still felt that.
Yep.
And the 9th episode happened, and the 10th episode happened, and I think even though like the last 3 episodes of season 1 were all great, I think what happened in 9 and 10 just kind of threw us both off from that. And then season 2, we thought was completely brilliant, and now season 3 is not only completely brilliant, but it's a story that we saw coming for the last. I mean, we saw the turn that happened coming, and we saw it coming, and it was a slow build, and it was gradual build, and not only did it live up to our expectations of when it finally happened, but then the show wrapped itself up in a nice little bow, knowing it didn't have any time left on the network.
And it wrapped it up.
I thought it was perfect.
It wrapped it up so nicely that it makes you wanting more because you know there's more. But at the same time, you're like, okay, I get it if there's no more. I'm okay if there's no more because it was a nice, pretty bow. Everybody got the end of their story, including Jessica. But the way they walked away and left it was almost kind of like a Dexter ending, where you're like, oh, really? So they could do another one. This was, like you said, we loved episode 1, or season 1, absolutely loved it, up until episode 8. Then it kind of turned a corner, things got a little weird, the last episode was rushed. Season 2 had great character builds, but as good as it was not really the best story. Does that make sense? I mean, the characters were amazing. We fell in love with Jerry. We fell in love with Malcolm. We fell in love with Trish. We even started to like her damn mother, who was a serial killer. And then that last episode was like, oh my god, what is going to happen? Because there were so many open ends during that last episode. We got it all in this one. We got every answer we ever wanted. We got every character development that we thought we were going to have, with the exception of one. I think there was one character, and I don't know, I want to see if you know the same person, but there was one character that I felt like we were misled through the first 2 seasons.
Really? Okay. No, I'm gonna have to see who that is.
Jerry Hogarth.
Okay, why is that?
Well, season 1, she was that rude attorney, but she always seemed like she had the good people's best interest in mind. In season 2, we really felt bad for her because everything she was going through with the dissolution of her company and the ALS and everything. In season 3, I hated that bitch.
Season 3 made me feel bad for feeling bad about her.
Exactly.
Bad for her in season 2.
Season 3, by episode 8, I wanted somebody just to end her. I was done with her by episode 8, and then it just kept going. And yeah, she kind of redeemed herself in episode 12, but by then I hated her at that point.
Yeah, me too. I really despised her. I despised her for what she turned Malcolm into. I despised her for turning on Jessica, for defending. Now I lost his last name. Um, and then basically like coming out against superpower vigilantes and supporting murderers. She got. I understand what she was doing with her ex-girlfriend who she was trying to get back, but
Right.
yeah, I mean that just went completely sideways for her. So.
One thing I like about this is outside of Jessica, and Malcolm, are there any heterosexual relationships? Through all 3 seasons. I haven't. Well, I guess Trish had hers.
Trish did, yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice that they don't shy away from that. Like even Acosta during this season when we came across his husband and him adopting a child and everything, I was like, man. And the first thing I said is, I'm actually proud of the fact that they're doing this, because there's so many shows that kind of shy away from that, and the fact that they really shone a spotlight on that kind of story was fascinating and fun and made the whole story better.
Not only that, but we actually get a follow up on it. We see so many times and we talked about this before about this particular television program, is that everybody on there feels real.
Yep.
It feels even things are happening in the background all the time on this show that might be a throwaway thing that happens in one show, but we actually see it come to fruition in Jessica Jones. And we had that scene where he and his husband are adopting a little girl in Africa, and I think it's Africa, and there's a scene where where his husband's asking him, is it always going to be like this? And he convinces him, and he's like, no, honey, it's not. And then I think it's the 12th episode, we see him with that kid. Yep. So I mean, it's just amazing. It's just amazing the way they tie everything and make sure it's a living, breathing world, as I said before. Now in saying that, I do have to say there was one character in this season that I did not feel that way about, and I just feel like they just didn't have time for it, maybe. And
Who was it?
And that is Zaya. I felt like Zaya, they just, and we finally saw her get a little bit of closure in the final episode, but it seemed like she was such a prominent figure the first half of the season, and then she almost disappeared off the face of the earth for the final half of it.
See, and I didn't feel that way with her. I felt like there was closure, and a lot of it was because I think it was like episode 11 or 12. 11, when Malcolm was explaining to Trish about why he broke up with her and why he distanced himself from her. She seems like she's going to be, or could be, a major player and a major character. But the way that Malcolm explained his relationship to her, it really made me feel like, okay, yeah, she's a background player. She's not got a major storyline, and this makes sense.
Right, but I mean, we got very few explanation of, why she was with Jerry, what she was looking to do with her career, why she covered up for Malcolm, all that. None of that stuff was really sufficiently explained in a way that I would have. And again, it's something that we wouldn't see that's the kind of something we'd see on another lesser show. And I was disappointed that they kind of put that to the side in this case, just because they never do that on this show.
See, for me, I had no disappointments, period, in this entire season. None at all. In fact, everything we wanted out of season 1 through those first eight episodes, I felt like we got in season 3 through all 12 or 13. Even the 13th episode, which it was a wrap-up story. It was one of those stories where people would probably look at it and go, oh, that was terrible. Excuse me. But the reason I liked it so much is because she brought a close to every relationship she had. Like, every ongoing relationship that she had, she broke up. Marvel fans and people who are in the know understand that Jessica and Luke are eventually husband and wife. Well, in this series, they're not. But she got that kind of closure to explain that away with Luke. Mm-hmm. Then she got that with Eric. She got that with Trish when she saw Trish being carried away. When she left to get on that bus at the end, it was like the perfect finish where it's like, okay, your job here is done. You can move on. And then, of course, we got the triumphant return of Kilgrave, which left everything open-ended. But ultimately, I felt like this was the perfect end to a series. Like the whole episode, even that one, which was down from everything else, was not even close to the level of every other episode here. I still felt like that episode delivered what we needed.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with all of that, and I love the way that Jeff mentioned Kilgrave, and what happened kind of towards the end is that, well, actually, the very last scene is Jessica was going to buy a ticket for as close as she could get to Mexico, and the guy said El Paso, gave her the ticket, and then she kind of sees the ticket turn purple as he's handing it to her, and she hears Kilgrave's voice in her head, and basically telling her, yeah, that's right, run away, and she gets a resolved look on her face, pushes the ticket back. No, I'm sorry,
No, she
on the
didn't.
counter
Yeah,
and walks
she just
away.
turned around.
Yep, and she turned around, she looked around, and then she started walking towards the exit, and that's where we roll credits.
Well, she didn't even walk. She just turned around and stared at the exit. And with the guy in the background saying, "Do you want your ticket, ma'am? Do you want your ticket?" It was, to me, that was the perfect ending. That was the ending where it was like, we don't know either way. Either she grabbed the ticket or she went back to her New York. It opens it up in case they ever want to do a season 4, which we know they're not going to. But in case they ever wanted to do a season 4, you've got the story built in perfectly. You've also got the closure story because everything was done. They closed every chapter of her book. And to have, like, one thing about season 2 that annoyed me was it was maybe 3 or 4 episodes in the middle. She had Kilgrave there. The fact that we didn't even get a thought of Kilgrave. I mean, there were a couple of times where people mentioned, oh, you killed this guy before, or you did this or that. But there wasn't that overwhelming thought of Kilgrave until the final scene of season 3.
Right.
Which I thought was amazing.
And I think we saw him in what, episode 11 of last year? 11 or 12?
No, it was before that. All I know is it was a good few episodes. Like, there were 3 or 4 episodes.
No, it was 1.
Oh, no, it was a couple, because it was episode 7, the I Want Your Cray Cray, where they had the flashbacks about Trish. Ain't We Got Fun was the one where she was hunting down Malcolm, and that was basically an entire Kilgrave episode. And then there was a little bit in episode 9.
Okay. I don't remember it being that much.
There was a lot of Kilgrave in season 2, and to the point where I was like, okay, where are we going with this? Is he still alive? Why does this happen? This was, the way that this one ended, it was like, Kilgrave is always in her mind, but not the ultimate control of her.
And he's going to be. I mean, even people who don't have that kind of abusive relationship, they've always, if you've had a long-term relationship with somebody or any kind of a loving relationship, you've always got a bit of that person inside you.
Yeah, and believe me, I can speak from experience.
I know you can.
But this one thing we're not talking about here, and it's something I feel we're missing out on. One of my top 3 favorite television characters of all time. Right now, my number 1 and 2 are Elijah from the originals Vampire Diaries. Amazing character, everything about him I love. Number 2 is Damien Dark. And I loved him in season 3 of The Flash, but I didn't really know what Damien Dark was until I watched season 4 of Arrow. And now watching the Arrowverse in order, he is one of my favorite characters. It's sad that he was only around for a couple seasons, but his dry humor, his matter of fact, whatever, his just demeanor and the way he talked to people was just an amazing character. I got that out of Salinger too. he's a guy that I want to see more of, and I know we're never going to because he was the
Him dead.
was he even the villain in this? This one's a hard one.
He was a villain.
This one's a hard one because I don't know who the actual villain was. Like in season 2, obviously it was her mom. In season 1, it was Kilgrave. In season 3, we had, 3 or 4 villains?
Yeah, but Salinger killed 8 people plus Dorothy Walker, so that's 9. Plus plus his best friend from high school, that's 10. So there's 10 that we know of that he killed.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, he was the villain in the season with the most
villains
bodies on its the most bodies that we know of. I mean maybe
most dead bodies.
Yeah, I mean maybe that guy that burned those buildings had killed more people, but directly it was definitely Salinger.
But as far as this season goes, in 13 episodes, we had 3 separate villains. We had Jerry, we had Salinger, and we had Trish.
Yeah.
That's really an amazing storyline when you think about it, because most TV shows, when you watch them, they go 22, 23 episodes with the same villain. In 13 episodes, we had 3 separate villains. And we had the tease of a 4th, but the 4th never actually panned out. Because the
4th being who, Jessica?
No, the 4th being, I can't think of his name, the Eric.
Okay. Yeah.
They teased that a couple of different times. It turns out he wasn't, but they definitely teased it and gave you that feeling of more than once that he was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, that's fair. I was a big fan of Eric. I liked Eric a lot, and I hope that, and we were talking about this like this show's over, and it was canceled by Netflix in June of 2019.
Which means it could end up on Disney Plus.
It could end up on Disney Plus because reportedly the rights to those series are reverting back to Marvel later this year to Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and the Punisher, and I think Luke Cage and.
Yeah.
However, there's also a stipulation.
Which dog unplugged it this time because you wouldn't mute? You're mute again.
However, there's also a stipulation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. There's also a stipulation on those contracts, though, because Netflix is kind of immoral, but also intelligent in business, in that they will not allow those actors to resume those same roles on another network for 2 years after they've canceled.
Oof.
So it's possible that it'll come back, but if so, it won't be until June of 2019. Or 2021, excuse me.
The only problem with this show coming back in 2 years is every character has been essentially written off it, except Jessica Jones. So if Disney were to do a new series, they're pretty much starting from scratch.
No, Malcolm is still. I mean, we will not have. We won't have Trish. We won't have Jerry.
We won't have Jerry. We won't have Trish.
Wait, let me talk. We won't have Jerry because she should have died by ALS by then. But we'll have Jessica.
That evil bitch.
Malcolm will have grown Alias investigations a bit in that time because he's just that damn good. Eric will still be around. Costa will still be around. Jessica will still be around, and Trish has then had 2 years to think about how to get revenge in the Raft, and might have found a way to escape from there.
When nobody else, even though they're more superpowered than her, could.
Yeah, but she's also got Luke Cage's brothers in there. What if they hook up together and forms a kind of a plan and an alliance?
Okay, now for the record, I haven't seen Luke Cage season 2, so
neither have I.
That story about his brother, I didn't understand.
I felt the same way. I was like, damn it, if I know Luke Cage was in this, I would have watched that first.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, fuck, what did we miss? What happened?
Well, Luke Cage season 1 is so damn great.
Oh, it's amazing. Luke Cage season 1 might be, and this is tough because Daredevil season 2 was great with the Punisher and Elektra and everything. But Season 1 of Luke Cage might be my favorite of all of them.
Um, I
Mainly
don't know. I mean,
because
it is so difficult because I love both seasons of The Punisher. I loved Daredevil season 2
I haven't seen the Punisher
because of the
yet.
Punisher's because the pun. Yeah, I know, and that's a big mistake on your part. You never listen to me when I tell you to watch things.
Well, because
Um,
you suck.
and Luke Cage season 1 was great too. So I mean, I think Luke Cage season 1 I would have liked more if they hadn't killed Diamondback so quickly.
See, the reason I like Luke Cage season 1 so much is because he wasn't going up against super villains.
Yeah.
Like, even Jessica Jones in every season was going up against a supervillain. And Luke Cage season 1 was not a supervillain.
No.
And I think that's, well, and, you know, I mean, even, I might be one of the few people on the planet that actually like Danny Rand. But even he was going up against the Hand. So it wasn't,
Yeah, he should have been just stroking it with it.
Oh, thank God your dog unplugged your mic at that point.
With his hand the entire season, would have been a better fucking show.
I liked him. He reminded me so much of Luke Skywalker, that whiny, entitled douchebag.
He was nothing like Luke Skywalker.
Whiny, entitled? Are you kidding me? That's Luke Skywalker to a T.
Yeah, but he wasn't entitled. That was the thing. He was like all about peace, and he was a whiny little bitch. I could not stand him.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker.
So I mean that will always be. I haven't even seen Iron Fist season 2, but I guarantee you it's the worst. Is
there a season 2 of that?
Yeah, they did like an 8-episode second season.
I think we need to watch that next.
No.
Ah, shit. What are we going to watch next, by the way?
I don't know. We haven't really talked about that. I know there was a show on Netflix you wanted to watch that we've kind of been pushing off. So.
There's so many. Like, literally, I looked at my next Netflix queue, and I have at least 150 different TV series I want to watch.
Well, you know what? I watched The Last Kingdom. It took me about like a month. If you want to watch The Last Kingdom and just go through it.
Have you ever seen the show
That
Zoo?
show's awesome.
The Last Kingdom?
Yeah. Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
No, I haven't.
Last Kingdom is better.
Well, that means nothing to me because I haven't seen.
But you know how the whole world went crazy for Game of Thrones.
Well, I keep trying to watch Game of Thrones, but then somebody that I know, a partner, he seems to have my best interest in mind, but he's still a dick, keeps telling me to watch these other shows, and then I'm stuck in the Arrowverse, so as much as I want to watch Game of Thrones, I never can. Another show that I really want to watch, damn it, I lost it.
Did you start to say Zoomies? I never heard of Zoomies.
No, it's a show called The Zoo.
Oh, I've never seen that. No.
Oh my god, dude. The first season is one of my favorites ever. It's a show where animals literally start to become so intelligent that they try to take over the world.
Okay.
It's a good show. I liked it.
Yeah, the weird thing is that I tell you shows are great, and you tell me shows are great, and rarely the ones that you tell me are great.
Oh, shut up.
Like Gotham, The Flash.
Oh, Gotham was amazing. Flash is fun. Flash is not a great show, I will admit that, but Flash is a fun show.
Flash is a very boring show filled with sappy bullshit.
Only because you don't like happy stuff.
I don't like schmaltzy stuff.
All right, fair enough.
And that's why I think if it wasn't for Iris, I could probably enjoy the Flash, but his relationship with Barry is just too sugary sweet for me.
The only reason, and to be honest, I jumped off Flash about halfway through season 3. And the only reason I'm back on it and back on Supergirl is because I'm trying to watch the Arrowverse in order. And Arrow, I'm now in season 5 of Arrow, and it is so good. Legends of Tomorrow is amazing. Even their campy bits with Ray Palmer and the characters from Flash are outweighed by people like Mick Rory and those characters. So I that's
where I can prove to you that you're wrong, that I don't like Happy, because I love Legends of Tomorrow. but it's that slapsticky, funny,
No, and that's what
happy-go-lucky stuff that I love about it.
that's what I was saying about Legends is that Ray Palmer is kind of that happy-go-lucky guy, but everyone else is, I mean, you've got Sarah Lance. She is bloodlusty, former League of Assassins. They go after horrible villains. It's just they're just great together. And then Mick has become one of the best characters on that show.
Yep, absolutely. Have you gotten to the part where he's writing yet?
Where he's what?
Where he's writing?
No. I'm on season 5 of Arrow, season 3 of Flash, season 2 of Legends, and season 2 of Supergirl.
Season 2? You're only on season 2 of Legends?
Yeah.
You should be on season 3 by now.
No, because I'm on season 5 of Arrow.
I think season 3 is when. Never mind. I won't spoil it for you.
Well, if it involves Mick, I'm in. I fucking love his character.
Yeah, I'm on. I think I'm on season. I must be on season 5 of Legends then.
Really? No, it can't be. I think they just did season 5 of Flash.
Well, no, I finished Arrow, and so it's either season 5 or season 6 of Legends that I'm on.
It can't be that far.
It is.
I'm on season 5. There's only 8. Let's not. Okay, we're gonna throw down before the big show. We got the big show coming up. We got the big show coming up soon.
You said you were on season 5 of Arrow.
Yeah.
And season 2 of Legends. So if you add three to each of those, 8 would be the same year as 5 of Legends, right?
So we're on season 5 of Legends. Yes. 6 of Flash.
No, I'm not on season 6 of Flash. Never will be.
There will
be. You know the most interesting part about the Flash is?
What's that?
That the guy that keeps coming back with a different character every year.
Harrison Wells?
Yeah.
I fucking love him. And I love it he is one of my favorite actors, period. Because every season he comes back as a different guy. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, so I mean that was the funnest part for me of watching the Flash, is seeing how they would reinvent him. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that I love season 1 and season 2 of the Flash, but season 3 just really drug, and I just got tired of Iris,
Well, yeah, and I get that.
So to me, when Barry got absorbed into the Speed Force, I was a happy camper.
Yeah, that was it for you, and I get that. I truly do get that. It was kind of the same with Gotham. By season 3, I can see where people jumped off. I was such a fan of Gordon that I just kept watching it, and I enjoyed it simply because of Gordon's progression. The rest of it was horrible, but when I watched that one character and his build, I loved it so much that I was all in. And so I can get it why people jump off at certain points and they're like, it sucks. Same thing with Flash. When he got absolved in the Speed Force, I was like, alright, I get it. I really do.
I think Doom Patrol's coming back very shortly too, like maybe later this week.
What?
Doom Patrol?
No. I don't care. Not watching it. I don't have time for it. Did we ever decide what we're doing next here? Are we going to do Island?
That's what it was. That's the one you wanted to do. Yeah. So let's
do you want to do that one, or do you want to do Last Kingdom?
Well, Last Kingdom, I've already seen all of it. So.
I'm afraid to. After that last movie you made me watch, I'm afraid to take any recommendations from you.
I hadn't even seen that yet, dumbass.
It was terrible. It was one of the worst things I've seen in the last probably 5 years. It was bad. It was bad. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go back, scroll down our YouTube or our Patreon, and go back to, what was the name of that? What's the name of that pile of crap?
The Last Days of American Crime.
Great concept. Horrible delivery. Listen to our thoughts. We would love it. And if you're listening...
Doom Patrol Season 2 debuts on June 25th, so just 3 days from now.
Is that DC?
DC Universe, yep.
Man, I don't have that one yet.
I gave you my information for it. You must have lost it.
Do you know how many times I've lost your information?
Not enough times because we're still talking.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Anyway, guys, if you're listening to us on YouTube, we greatly appreciate it. Please hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and drop a like on this one. It's greatly appreciated. It does help us out in the long run. Also, our Patreon. Patreon.com/Kingdom of Honor. You get to hear us talk about a lot of wrestling, a lot of Marvel and comic books, and at some point, dude, we need to start talking about comic books again.
Well, yeah, if you remember how to get into the Marvel app again.
You change the password, I can't get in.
I was required to change the password by goddamn ESPN.
And I can't get in. So
you know what? I don't know if you realize this yet, because I sure didn't. But did you know that Dorothy Walker was played by Rebecca De Mornay?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. How did
I know,
not
me neither. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, she looks different. So instead of looking that up, why don't we just end this? I did my plugs. Guys, and by the way, stay tuned. In probably about 15-20 minutes, we're going to start a Kingdom of Honor episode, because someone has to eat Chinese with his family tomorrow.
Yeah, you just said you don't have a family.
You know, that hurt. Like, I'm really hurt right now.
I know.
I'm crying. I'm crying, literally.
I'll give you 20 minutes to get over it.
All right, fair enough.
All right. That's all we got. We'll try to do better next time. Take care of yourselves out there, and there is no goodbye. It's always till next time. All that stuff.
Everyone, I love you. How about that?